Hello YouTube, Trinity here again, giving you guys a deck profile that I've been waiting for a while. It took me a while to find some of the cards I wanted to do to finalize some of these deck profiles for 10th anniversary. With that being said, here's one that I've been dying to give you guys since I've been testing it extensively, and I really like this current variation. And as you can see, it is Deity Garga Magic Orb base. That being said, we'll get on to the deck profile. You got the flag and the buddy right there. Self-explanatory. The buddy can be anything, but I have Deity Garga. We'll move on to the deck right here. We'll start off with the monsters. I run 4 Deity Garga. This is, so there are no future card buddy fights in this deck. You could run it if you want to. The deck runs fine without it. I am using this more so off the community ban list. If you know what the community ban list is a ban list of people who continue to play the card game Cancellation in America. And it basically has banned Future Card Buddy Fight and a couple other cards because it enables FTKs. Now, again, you could run it if you're not running on that ban list, and sometimes I don't, but most of my events and servers run off that ban list or something similar. And Future Card Buddy Fight is often banned because that card is ridiculously powerful. But anyway, that being said, you won't see that in the deck profile. We run 4 Deity Gargantua Revival Buddy, and then we'll move on to the rest of the monsters. I'm running 3 copies of Garga or Blade Mage. This is my main G-Evo target in the deck. It's the one I'm going into to end the game. Next, we run 1 copy of Sonic Mode. When G-Evo'd, you can draw 2 cards. It's just really good, you know. Cannot be destroyed, return to hand. It's a really good defensive card to let you take in your deck. Gain 2 life. Next, I'm running 1 copy of Dual Mode. I was going to get the SP, but it went up in price. Similar to this, you draw 2 cards, you pop 2 cards. He's basically Blast Mode and Sonic Mode in 1 card. Moving on, we have 1 copy of Raging Mode. Just for, like, good OTK pressure and good damage output. 1 of this for Gauge Stealing. 1 Gatling Mode. And then 1 of this tech card because I like to beat over Max Dragons because I am a Max Dragon player. 1 of Gargantua Night Dragon, and that is it for our main deck G-Evos. I could have a sideboard, but I don't have it built currently, so that is it for the G-Evos. We'll now move on to the last monster of the deck, which is 3 copies of Magidog. Discard a Deity Gargantua Dragontribe from your hand, gauge and draw 2 cards. You can only call this once per turn or use the effect once per turn. Then I played 2 copies. This is the card I was waiting on that finally came in. It took like a month to ship from where it was. But I finally got it in, so I can finally get the deck profile. Run Combat Glory. It lets you basically pay 1 gauge, and you can basically G-Evo from a card from your drop or hand, and it gets 5k power, 5k defense. You can only use this effect once per turn. That is our first spell. Next, we're running 4 copies of Examinate. It's my favorite card. Lets you look at the top 3 cards of your deck. 1 to hand, 1 to drop, and 1 to gauge and gain a life. And I run 2 copies of Holy Magic. This is the best card in Magic World. Shuffle different spell names from your deck into the deck. You get different effects for each 3 returns. So 3, you get 2 gauge. 6, you get to gain 2 life and draw 2, I believe. And then 9, you get the burn for 3. So it's a really good card. So it's gauge 2, draw 2 with 6 return. Then I play 2 copies of Sephiroth's Lecture. Look at the counter. If you use the spell this turn, look at the top 2, add 1, rest to gauge. My favorite. This is the best card in Magic World next to Holy Magic. And the original OG. We got nice 1, pay to 1 gauge, draw 2 cards. Next, we're going to get into like the 1-ups really soon. So it's going to get we're going to go speed through. We got 2 copies of Solomon's Barrier. Only 2, because we want to make room for the 1-ups for Holy Magic. 2 is completely fine. If you're not sure what Solomon Barrier Re-S does, you can draw a card and return a card to the hand, and then you can also make damage dealt by effects and battle to 0 for the next time they would occur. 2 copies of Telecure Re-S, the best spell in Magic World. This is like the best defensive spell. I'm not going to go over what it does. You can read it there on screen. I don't really have it memorized. I just know it's better than the next one, which is the original Telecure. This is still fine as a defensive card, I'm still running 1 just because it's a different name than that, and just to give us more different names and more good defense options. I'm running 2 copies of God Magic Nexus. It nullifies a card or reduces the power of that card. Pretty good defensive card in combination with some of our other cards, and it's recyclable off God Magic first try. Gauge 2, and then you can put God Magic Nexus when you drops into your hand. Next, we'll go into our one-ofs. We got Protect Magic, which I was waiting on this to come in, and Experiment Bird Magic. These are basically 2 of our. This is a shield, and this is our critical reducer. And with those being said, we'll move on to our another spell. Shield, we have Fake Out. Put a spell to the bottom of your deck, nullify an attack, and draw 1 card. 1 God Magic Teachings of the Fighting Emperor. You get the gauge and draw, basically. Gauge 2 and draw if you have 2 Deity Garga's dragons. Basically a gauge and draw spell. 1 Abracadabra, we can recycle it over and over if we need it. And we just want different named spells. Having a spell null is good. You could run 2, but I'm on 1. 1 copy of Trio, just to add back our Garga if it gets stuck in gauge. 1 Devil's Rock and Roll. This is another way to search for your Gargas and keep the deck moving. 1 Buddy Block, self-explanatory. 1 Sun Deity's Grace, also pretty self-explanatory. Prevent FTKs and to prevent getting OTK'd by attacks. Again, you can add them back and you can search them off your spells. 1 Loyalty to stop those combo decks. Again, it's searchable. We have our God Magic Circle of the Great Spell Reservoir, which is our set spell that adds back our sets from Drop Zone. 3 of the item, which you could. I was running 1 of the card that searches it, but I ran into a small gauge issue, so I'm trying it out at 3. Again, you can run the 1 spell that searches the item for a gauge and also gives you 5 life if you need a counter. But I'm on 3 of this right now. I could drop and add that card back in if I really need to. The deck's been working pretty well like this. Whenever you GEVO, you can add a spell from your deck to your hand. And this at the start of your opponent's turn, discard a card, add a spell from your drop zone to your hand. Alright, with that being said, we'll move on to the last card of the deck. 2 copies of a card I've had since Triple Punisher. Deity Gargantua Punisher. This impact pays 2 gauge. You can only use this card if you use a spell this turn. Deal 5 damage to your opponent. And I believe you have to have a Deity Dragon Tribe. And that is it for this deck profile. That was my Deity Garga. I'll be giving Godpunk soon as I get my new oversleeves in the mail. And a few others. I'm still tinkering with a few other builds to finalize. If you like this profile, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.